What would happen if every Republican were to suddenly vanish? At some point in our future, this could be the fate of our planet. A day when Republicans no longer have political influence in these United States.
The idea of life without Republicans may seem like a science fiction nightmare, but I believe it is possible simply by virtue of having an opposing party which embraces socialism and goes by the ancient adage, when they go low, we kick them.
So let us imagine that time has run out for Republicans. The party of freedom and common sense has now vanished. Welcome to America. Republican population 0. What would life be like after Republicans? Let us imagine that time has run out. Within minutes, the mainstream media joyously reports that in the streets, Democrats are dancing, smiling, celebrating.
You would have Democrats pouring into the streets, blocking traffic like a bunch of assholes, and having toasts of victory with soy milk. Ugh.
I surmise that Anderson Lemon might soil his pants in elation.
Everything is festive. Festive until members of Antifa emerge from their parents' basements. They begin vandalizing businesses, smashing windows, burning whatever they can find. One dubious cable news network quickly responds by cutting back to shots of people dancing.
Anyone watching this fake news network will be left with the impression that these were all well-behaved, law-abiding citizens.
In reality, the nation of freedom and prosperity is on the brink of catastrophe. Along the southern United States border, patrol agents who once watched over this area are nowhere to be seen. They've all gone because the Democrats ordered them to leave or be executed. The migration starts with just a few, but soon a massive crowd of undocumented immigrants begins flooding across the border.
I envision pandemonium. If my theory is correct, we would have tens of millions of alien beings pouring into the US.
Almost immediately, they would begin receiving free welfare, free health care, free schooling, and pay no taxes.
Hillary Clinton's psychic vision of a civilization without borders would become reality.
The President of Mexico declares Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California all territories of Mexico. In Washington, the Democrats put up no resistance, stating that to resist would be immoral. Democrat lawmakers are now sobering up from their drunken parties with strippers, prostitutes, and interns. They convene at Capitol Hill to, among other things, give away billions of dollars to other countries, so that the United States would no longer have to feel the shame of being such a wealthy nation.
You can't spend like drunken sailors. It's not sustainable. It would lead to hyperinflation and the national debt would spiral out of control.
In order to ensure that the reckless spending never stops, the Democrats also decide to give non-citizens the right to vote.
You tell to me that these Democrat people would like for all people in all the world to, how you say, vote your country? Okay, my country select socialist candidate, your country.
As icing on the cake, the Democrats also double everyone's taxes and release all prisoners.
I like these Democrat people.
Yeah, let's just let all the prisoners out. Yeah, can I have more criminals in my neck of the woods, please? Maybe a couple murderers?
You can't make this stuff up.
In major metropolitan cities such as Los Angeles, time is about to run out for commuters. In order to reduce the nation's carbon footprint, the Democrats decide to implement road diets by turning freeway lanes into bicycle lanes.
The magical thinking here is that by shutting down our freeways, you would somehow force our commuters to walk or ride their bicycles, when in fact, the opposite effect would be true. This would increase commutes up to tenfold. For example, a 15-minute trip to your local grocery store could take greater than 3 hours and it turn into a day-long expedition.
Commuters become frustrated, but any neoliberal who might dare complain would be subject to ridicule on social media. Eventually, the complaining goes completely silent because the Democrats have decided to repeal the First Amendment. A memo is sent out to all social media outlets and search engines, informing them that any neoliberal chitter-chatter must be removed.
If you operated a social media site or a search engine and someone was to post something critical of the Democrats, you'd be required to flag it as hate speech and then immediately delete it.
Controlling internet speech requires that software engineers write new algorithms. But for the biggest social media sites and search engines, no changes are necessary whatsoever.
Silicon Valley's response to this memo would be, hell, we've been censoring conservative speech for years. Great, we don't have to change a thing.
As traffic continues to grind to a halt, one thing actually works to ease traffic. Consumers have most curiously stopped eating out because the Democrats have raised the minimum wage to $100 per hour. If you want a burger now, it will cost you $75.
$75 burger? Who the hell could afford that? These businesses would lose 99% of their customers. You know what? Get the hell out of here.
In my country, we pay 600 rubles for a slice of bread, so don't complain.
Having lost 99% of their customers, businesses are forced to close.
You would have massive unemployment. Basically, the only people working would be gangs and government workers. And both of them are paid very well, and neither one could ever get fired.
Well, it is now football season, and the national anthem has been banned forever. And players are once again kneeling, but this time for a different reason. These players were just informed by their accountants that their federal income tax rate just jumped from 39% to 80%. Add on the state income tax, and that $3 million salary is now just $87,000.
These players wouldn't know who to blame. On the one hand, would try and cover up for the Democrats. And yet on the other hand, the Republicans are all gone, so you can't blame them. I suspect that would even blame higher taxes on global warming. But even the stupidest football player would question that crazy notion.
Football players also burn a lot of calories, but without proper nutrition, they are lacking in performance. And by now, grocery stores are starting to close. Soon there will be no food sold anywhere.
Oh, skis.
As a direct result of the absence of food, you would start to see the beginnings of panic and famine.
People would start to panic. Are you kidding me? Welcome to hell.
Gangs, as well as newly released prisoners who had previously been given life sentences, began carrying out home invasion robberies. And the citizens are like sitting ducks. Once upon a time, they owned guns to protect themselves. But now that the Democrats have seized their guns, there is no deterrent because only the criminals have guns.
It'll be a return to the good old days. Food, jewelry, all kind of will get stolen. People will get murdered. It'll be back to the good old days.
Please stay the course.
Unfortunately, the Democrats turn a blind eye and the media applauds.
The Democrat gods would perceive this rampant crime as merely collateral damage against the greater good of being progressive.
Who the hell comes up with this kind of crap?
Now, with massive traffic gridlock, cities are burning 5 times as much fossil fuels as when Republicans were in charge. But something unexpected is happening. In a strange twist, scientists report that global temperatures are actually cooling. As it turns out, it is the sun that controls temperature, not humans. And planet Earth is heading into the next ice age.
Planet Earth has always gone through climactic changes, However, the Democrat gods have a strong penchant for omitting, suppressing, and falsifying history.
Despite cooling temperatures, the Democrats insist that the debate is over and the science is settled. And so in one last final solution, the Democrats decide to flat out ban fossil fuels. And so in short order, oil wells are capped, gasoline stations closed. The industrial age comes to a screeching halt. No more factories, no more hospitals, no more schools, no more planes, and no more cattle.
Modern civilization is dependent on fossil fuels. Therefore, it is a foregone conclusion that hospitals, factories, and schools would be forced to terminate their operations.
I support stop fossil fuels, your country. I support this Democrat plan to destroy USA economy.
As winter arrives, residents are starting to discover that alternative energy just doesn't cut it. Their wind-powered central heating units are failing. Their solar-powered cars won't start. They are trapped, starving, freezing to death, dying in droves. The people want to speak out, but it is against the law to criticize the Democrats. And so the people say nothing and just die.
Anyone who would dare to speak out would be stoned to death by Antifa, unless, of course, they could escape via acoustic levitation.
As bodies continue to hit the floor, the media refuses to cover it. That dubious cable news network even doubles down by releasing a poll claiming that 87% of people are happy with solar power.
You would have millions of deceased and unnewsworthy bodies rotting and decaying.
But eventually the cable news networks go off the air because there are no Republicans to complain about, and because most of their viewers have now perished.
By now, all you would have left would be the 3 networks doing happy stories about how LGBTQ people are breathing such clean air. Stories that nobody's watching because most of the country done died of starvation and frostbite. But I digress.
And so, realizing that the United States is a death trap, the illegal immigrants all decide to self-deport.
The alien visitation would be cut short as they would voluntarily return to their universes of origin.
The only humans left standing are the politicians who still use fossil fuels and have stockpiled food inside their walled compounds.
Well, surprise, surprise, we hoarded all your food.
But within 12 months, the last can of food runs out. The last Democrat perishes. There is nothing left. No Republicans, no Democrats. United States population, 0. there are no signs that there were ever any people here. Cities that were once thriving metropolises have returned to their previous undeveloped states.
Even the most advanced civilizations, such as New York and Los Angeles, would rot, crumble, and decay.
The Lincoln Memorial was made from quality marble stone, but social justice warriors viewed it as racist and sexist, and so they destroyed it. Even Mount Rushmore, which should have lasted for millions of years, was targeted for demolition by Antifa because it was viewed as lacking in diversity.
Traminia Ruvicia, America.
If extraterrestrials were to land here, they would find nothing.
And so, in a world without Republicans, it is only a matter of time before Democrats destroy everything.
This is all that would be left.
In the season finale of Life After Republicans, the leaders of freedom and the Constitution are gone. But what will the Democrats decide to do with rotting Republican corpses? Will they get a proper burial, or will their bodies be dragged through the streets?
Proper burial? No.
And how will the citizens survive?
You want to try crocodile?
Oh, how does my hair look in the shot? So do you actually think that YouTube is going to allow a mockumentary that makes fun of the Democrats to, appear high up in their search results? No. That's why I'm counting on you folks to share this thing on social media. Those are your marching orders, all right? Don't be a jive turkey.